Hey, brother, here we are again.
Doing what we love, loving what we do, right?
Yeah, that's right. We're living, love it, owning it. We could go on and on and on. But you know what's really exciting is today's a mini stack. We have rack and stack, which is three. Today's a rack and I guess I don't know.
We'll,
We
we'll, we'll just call it a mini rack and stack,
mini rack and stack, but
because it's a rack and stack, and we've got two military people on the
we
show,
do.
which is
I know, and I love that because you know my affinity for the military in general and law enforcement. I always have had, but my son's a Marine. I mean, not currently serving. There once a Marine, always a Marine, right? So it's always one that I get tied up on how I want to say that. But and our guest coming up here is a Marine, not currently serving, but he's serving the community in a whole other way. Paul Price is just an amazing guy and doing things right down there in the Tennessee mountains and Georgia and wherever else he wanders around, sitting in his pickup right now because he's working hard. So we could maybe go get him. What do you think?
I think it's a good idea. We were trying to figure out when we were going to post them. It was either going to be on July 4th for the celebration of America, and if that one didn't work, we were just going to wait till November 10th and just
That's it.
Marine Corps birthday. So
exactly,
one or the other.
We'll do one or the other. But maybe if he's really good, we'll put a little pressure on him, and maybe we could like give him an encore if he's really good or something. We'll see.
Yeah, and he'll be back.
He'll be back. I can guarantee he'll be good enough. Because yes, all right. I know we're yapping. Let's do it. Hey, brother, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Doing well, my man. Doing well. It's
Awesome.
just a pleasure to have you on, buddy.
I appreciate you having me.
Well, of course. We're always. It's always great to have great people on, and we always have been blessed. Every guest we've ever had has been great people, and I'm going to give you a forewarning. Our next guest that we're going to interview today, we're doing a twofer today.
Yes, sir.
Is a repeat customer. A repeat customer. Well, he's a repeat guest. He's a former military himself, because I know we're going to talk about that in a minute. But you're
Yes, sir.
a Marine. He was with the Lieutenant Colonel in the First Cav, and
Wow.
good friend of the show, good friend of mine. And I think the last time we was together, he bought me dinner. So the next time we're together, I guess I'm going to buy. So I've been avoiding it like the plague. But just kidding. But anyway, we appreciate you, and thank you for your service. That never gets said enough to you guys. So we
I
appreciate it.
definitely appreciate it. Most certainly. Yes, sir.
Absolutely. So tell us who you are. I mean, obviously you're Paul Price, but give us the you may not know where in the world is Waldo. That's you're probably a little young for that.
No, I
Goofy
know
thing.
where it's at. I know
Do
exactly.
you?
Where that
Okay. So we do the word. Who in the world is Paul Price?
I'm just country folk from Asheville, North Carolina. I got 9 brothers and sisters, raised in a big old family. Grew up in I say small town, but Asheville's gotten pretty big over the years now. But joined the Marine Corps when I was 20. Always something I've always wanted to do. I think every young man, to some extent, should serve to some capacity.
Mm-hmm.
And did that for 7 years. Got injured playing a little game of softball. Nothing cool in there in that aspect. And then cut my Marine Corps career short. I got out when I was 27. I'm married. I've been married now. This past March will be 14 years. I got 4 beautiful kids, 12, 10, and I got a set of twins that are 5. And currently I reside in Georgia. Got into construction again shortly after getting out of the Marine Corps with some buddies at my church. Got me involved into it again and sort of grew my passion, because before the Marine Corps I used to do a lot of roofing, and slowly got involved in that, and then got into house framing, post frame building, barn dominiums, decks, that kind of thing. And just ultimately I just get a great pleasure from delivering a not only a great service to people, but seeing a quality product at the end of the day. Is sort of, that's kind of a little bit about me. Is that's basically it, really, in a nutshell. Big family. Live in a small town now. Decided to go start my own construction business, and been loving every minute since I started doing it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. As you well know, we follow each other on social, and I
Yes,
love
sir.
I love seeing the jobs that you put up. I mean, you're doing some real quality stuff there, and
Try.
some mutual great friends of ours, the folks at True Metals,
Absolutely.
always speak highly of you,
Yes,
and
sir. Yes, sir. Yeah,
not that I believe
thoroughly
it.
love them.
Yeah, they're great. They're great folks. They're great folks. So you live in Georgia now.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's where I reside. Yes, sir.
Okay. What part of Georgia is that? Up in that north? Yeah. Let me guess. Let me guess. Don't tell me.
You might as
Northeast
well label it
corner.
like Northwest Georgia. Calhoun basically is the
Oh,
probably the
okay.
most
North.
prominent town down there. My wife, her family's she was born and raised in that area, and when I got out of the Marine Corps for whatever reason, I decided to move down there instead of moving back to Asheville, and so I've been down probably here and going on this year. Actually, be going on 10 years. I've been down in Georgia, and
Okay.
it's nice. It's nice for what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the town you grew up in, Asheville. I love that town. I know it got devastated with the hurricane,
It
but
did. Yes, sir.
but man, I love that. I love that area. My wife and I would when we travel back to Michigan in the summer months because, as I think you know, I live in southern Florida, but when we go
Yes, sir.
back to Michigan in the summer. So we'll go different routes, and always loved going and get to Asheville. I don't even know why I'm talking about this, but just because my podcast, I'll talk about what I want to. So it's the only place I get to do what I want. Anyway,
Yes, sir.
but there's the Foundry there. You're familiar with the hotel, the Foundry? It's a Hilton property there, got in Nashville, right? Kind of close to downtown, but it's a Hilton
Uh,
property. But bunch of old
I may
factory
have seen it.
buildings.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, they took a bunch of old factory buildings that are all connected and got all the
I got you.
25-foot high ceilings and all the oak floors and exposed
Yes, sir.
pipes. It's really a great spot. It's one of their, yeah, so we like to stay there. But anyway, so you after the Marine Corps, um, you got back into construction. Uh, Lead us into your culture with your business. I mean, I know you're all about taking care of people and doing it right. What's that mean to Paul Price? What's it mean to take care of a customer and do it right? Because we all can say, "Hey, we're the best and we care about people," and but a lot of people don't always live that. I know for a fact you do, having met you several times. But what's that mean to Paul?
I don't like to claim to be the best because that's very like I say it's too arrogant to an extent. But what I like to look at it as is when a customer comes to me, for example, like hey, say they want to build a barnuminium, whatever that is, and kind of go through the processes of it, of what the steps are and what they're going through. I look at it as a great experience is that the customer is enjoying the journey with you. It's not a pain in the neck to get a hold of you. It's not a dread because you didn't do what you told them you would do. It's the experience is enjoyable, and then what comes with that is there's a sense of pride, for lack of terms, is like
Hmm.
I take a lot of pride in what I'm doing. So I want to give you a quality product that when I look back, it's I can take a picture of it, and I want to show people that, hey, this is what you can get, with the experience you have with me. Like it's enjoyable. We discuss the processes. That's me is what a quality experience is for a customer. It's not always, about the money, which a lot of people tend to get bent over shape about, but it's about what you want you to enjoy it because you're going to be in it for however many years and you don't want to like resent the experience. You don't want to look back and like, man, I wish I didn't take the time to do it with this guy. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was a great experience. I look forward to it. If I ever do it again, I really would like to do it again with this guy. So it's sort of like maybe a long-term relationship in that little spec, whether it's a new deck or come back and add on, it's you're trying to keep a relationship down the road instead of a one time bang.
I love that, and and that leads us into an area that I love to talk about, which is you're staying away from transactions with that, right? Transactions are one time, one off. You get the deal, you build the deck, and if it doesn't go like you said, well, and not even well, because satisfied customers is still not the goal, right? I love Ken Blanchard's book. I talk about often, Raving Fans, right?
Yes,
And
sir.
you really need raving fans, because satisfied customers will still wander off the reservation at some point because they're only satisfied. It was okay. It was fine. It was fine. It was all right. But all right isn't good enough, right? You want these people going, I don't care what I have done, I'm going to have Paul Price do it. And I'm going to tell my friends and family and neighbors, because that's how much they love what you did. And that's all about the experience, because I think you hit on it, which I loved. Price, as in cost, not you, is going to be relative, right? There's a range.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And you could get 10 quotes and they're all going to be in a range, right? And materials in today's world, we all know that where a lot of your materials come from, and top of game players, but materials are materials, at the end of the day. And it really comes down to you and the experience, like you just said, bring to the customer. And that's what I love, because I love the theory that, with 8.5 billion people or whatever there is on planet Earth, if you can get it to be about Paul Price, you win every time, right? Because nobody ever can outperform Paul Price at being Paul Price, right? And
absolutely. Yeah.
And I think that I can tell that's what you do. And so what's that? So when you get with customers, I would say probably a good part of what you guess, or your customers, and I'm going to guess at this because I don't know, we haven't talked about this, are probably referrals, are probably word of mouth from people saying, and I know you do social media, you do all those things that we all love, and I'm a big proponent of that. But with that said, still, I'm going to guess in the small, country world that you operated down there, a lot of us people are going, yeah, if you're going to build a barn or a barndominium or a deck or put some metal roofing on or whatever that case is, you got to talk to Paul.
Yes, sir. And then you're absolutely right. I probably would say probably 80 to 85% of my work really comes from, I did something for somebody and then they talked about it, and then this guy and this guy, and this sort of just goes on and on. That's usually majority of my work comes that way. And I hang my hat on it because it says that I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, because I get to enjoy what I'm doing, but at the same time, you look at the person who's ultimately paying you to do the project, and you just see the gratification, that's really all I can say. Really, the gratification of what they're getting, how it's being done, and then the end product of just like, wow, because you hear so much about people who spend hundreds of thousands of dollars for a project and they're just miserable. And it's like, man, you could have had such a better experience had you just talked, talk to the right person, essentially, because not everybody's in it just to turn and burn.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like, let's build a relationship, because people. It's just like being in a car dealership. You want to build up with a family member, so that family member goes and gets this guy, and then you just keep bringing that family into that same dealership. Same concept. You just want to bring them back.
It is, and thinking of car dealerships, anybody that's been in the world of sales, and you may or may not have read the book or know Joe Girard, but greatest car salesman ever. And he built his career on not just this person, but he's going to sell their mom, dad, grandpa, uncles, aunts, kids, grandkids, great grandkids. And that's what you get when you do it the right way. And again, because one sale is one sale, and it's great to have, but you really want that the people you build a deck for to suggest you for the metal roof to a friend, and that friend then suggest it to their church members. Well, if you're gonna do a barn door, man, I talk to Paul, because the dude's good, absolutely, man. Right?
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head, brother.
Yep, it is.
Yes,
and you know what I love about what you do too, is you do a really good job with your social media, and that's an area that I love. I love the whole world of virtual and social, as long as you bring it into context that it's still person to person, it's still people to people every day, regardless. Even in the B2B world that I'm in, it's still people to people. Yes, me as a sales guy, air quote, right, talking to a buyer, whatever your position is, it's still, I know you deal a lot with the boys at True, but and that's not part of the world that I deal in. They're just friends of mine in the industry because they're great people, and I believe in just knowing great people. But if they was a customer of mine, it's it goes much further than that, right? It goes that personal relationship. But my point I was getting at is I love the idea of what you do with your social, and I want to maybe chat about that a little bit because you're a boots on the ground, bro hugging and baby kissing,
Yes, sir.
you know, type of guy, right? That people will learn to
Yes,
like,
sir.
know, and love. As our friend Ben Gay the third always says, people buy from them they know, like, trust, and feel safe with. And,
Yes,
and
sir.
he always adds that and feel safe. And you do such a great job with, I just know being around you of making people feel safe. And that may be one of the biggest things of that whole know, like, trust, and feel safe. Because it's one thing if it's a couple $1,000 sale, a ten
Yes,
thousand
sir.
dollar sale even. That's a little bit whatever. I just want to save a couple bucks. I don't really care. It's not that big a deal to me. But you start getting into a roof or a deck project where you're going to live on every day of your life, or a barn dominium that you're going to actually live in maybe the rest of your life.
Yes, sir.
That's relationship and trust and feeling safe. That what happens if something goes haywire? Is this guy going to take care of me? Is he going to make sure he explains what went wrong, what went right, what we're going to do about
Absolutely.
it, right? And that's a big part of of being successful in the construct any world, any genre, I think, but especially in the construction world, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yes, they've got to feel that you are competent enough to do the project, as well as make them understand that, hey, the reason why I'm doing such and such is because this is the right way to do it to alleviate any problems. If I skip this step, this could happen. And you always reassure any client, potential client, that, hey, this is the way it's going to be done. This is why I'm doing it, and this is the way it said it should be done. And we don't want to skip any steps in that. And that explains why this cost is X and X, or why this cost this X and X over here. And so and that's a big deal to people, especially when it comes to, like, if you're gonna be like walking on it, spending time on it. You don't want to be out there and, like, get on a deck and it wobbles a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Or a
yeah,
wall moves. It's like, what's going on here? So it's just making them feel assured that, hey, everything's going to be good, everything's done the way it's supposed to be done. you know and not come off as you're trying to hide something when you're in conversation. Just letting it out there and let it be as it is. Always be honest. I didn't be truthful straight up.
exactly. Oh, it's ethically the right thing, morally the right thing, and it's just a whole lot easier to remember the truth, right? I
No,
mean,
it is, because
it's just the truth.
you start lying too much, you forget where you started.
Well, exactly, and when you build that relationship and you do it the right way and you insist on doing it the right way, the likelihood, or you cut into the likelihood that something goes wrong, right? But
Yes,
things go wrong sometimes, right? It's just
they do.
part of a delay and delivery, weather. It's something that just happens. And think the key to building those relationships early on, and being upfront and honest right out of the gates as soon as you know something's wrong, is, hey, we kind of messed up and here's what happened. But here's what we're going to do to fix it, right? That's pretty important, as opposed to, do you agree that the sooner you know there's a problem, the quicker you can get on top of that and let the customer friend know there's a problem, the better off you are, right? Not let them
Oh, I
figure
agree.
it out after the
I agree a
fact.
100%, because what will happen is you got those guys who'll know a problem is, and then try to hope that no one sees it and then moves on. But then it just causes problems down the road. I agree 100%. If you see a problem, like, hey, I just caught this issue. Either I made a mistake or we just missed it or whatever it is. But this is what I'm gonna do to fix this and get this right, so we
Mm-hmm.
can keep on trucking.
Well, exactly. And in construction, if something happened, something just messed up, and that happens, is no matter how
Yes.
good you are,
Yeah, absolutely.
you're better off to go to the customer and say, hey, I know you saw me putting this widget on yesterday, but I'm going to take the widget back off today and redo something, and here's why.
Yeah,
As
absolutely.
opposed to them standing out there going, okay, why did Paul just put this widget on? Now he's taking it off. What is he hiding, right? Because the problem
Absolutely.
I've always found is once you get caught in those scenarios, then that trust level, right, goes down drastically to
Oh yeah.
what else are they hiding? What else did I miss? And then the last thing any contractor wants, right, is when the homeowner loses, or the homeowner, in your case, probably most of the time, but the commercial building owner, doesn't matter, the customer, once they've lost that confidence level and that trust, now they're watching everything under fine tooth comb, and they're going to find, I think that shade of white's different than the other shade of white, right? I mean, they're actually looking for everything they can find, and that just creates problems that don't even exist. So if you're honest, they go, okay, well, he's fair. If there's something else, he'll tell me.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because you see it now, like on those Facebook groups of like where homeowners come in there and they're like, well, why is this way? And it's because that whoever that builder was or is hid something, and then they bring it out to light, and then like another thing gets hid, and it's just a spiral effect that really it takes the experience for the customer, it goes bad, and then if you're a halfway decent contractor, it's gonna like wear you down because you know you tried hiding something, and just it'll tell on you eventually.
It will.
You can only get away with it so long.
Exactly. Hey, friends, it's Randy here, the owner of Source One Marketing, iBuyFromRandy.com. And I got to tell you, we are proud to sponsor the Building Wins Live podcast and vlogcast. We have 4+ decades in this beautiful industry of supplying materials, supplying services, supplying marketing assistance, and we just are proud to sponsor Building Wins Live and some great guests that we have every single week, many of them from our beloved industry and many of them from outside the industry that still bring some incredible content. So make sure to check us out at iBuyFromRandy.com and let us know what you think about this show. For now, thanks for checking this out. Let's get back to the show. I love you. We was talking back about how you maintain all your business, or how you gain most of your businesses, is referrals and word of mouth. And I wanted to go back and touch on that. We started talking about social media a little bit, and I took us in some direction for a minute, which I tend to do. But anyway, the beautiful thing with, even though most of your business comes from referrals, maybe more so than social media, possibly. But the beautiful thing with what you're doing on social media is that substantiates to that customer their decision, or if they're in the process of interviewing you, but maybe somebody else told them about this guy as well. They're trying to make that decision. The more projects they see, the more they see you out there, the more they see the jobs you're doing and the happy customers you're doing. That either substantiates their decision up front that I want to go with Paul, or if they're already involved with you, I'm glad I got involved with Paul, or after the project's done, boy, am I glad I went with Paul. Does that sound right to you?
Yeah, I could definitely agree with you on that. And then and then just, I mean, I've gotten feedback where I posted some finished products, and got reached out, but hey, thanks for what you did. I'm glad you're able to post it out there, because I like to show the work. I like to show it because it gives you some some ground to stand on by, hey, this is what I've done, and like you can look at it and see for yourself and sort of help you out. And that's the benefit of social media for me. I've not got a whole lot of like clientele from it. That's mainly because if you talk to Shannon, she tells me I need to work on it a little bit better. Like I need to put more content out there, anyways. But because I don't do that enough. But it just, a client can go in there and look and see some of your finished work, and when you're talking about something, like they can look and see like, oh, he's actually done this, and not just blowing smoke. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Well, and I love that. I love that you're working with Shannon and folks over there and going to do more, because you need to expose the world to what you do, man. You
Yes,
really
sir.
do.
Yes, sir.
So
Oh, yeah.
don't be shy.
She just tells me I need to push it some more. I just forget about it sometimes. I just forget
Yeah,
about it.
that's what you got them there for. But visibility equals opportunity, brother. Remember that. Don't ever
Yeah,
forget it.
absolutely. You're right about that. Yes,
So,
sir.
what do you do besides building great buildings and barn dominiums and all that? What do you do in your spare time? Well, you got a boatload of kids, so that probably keeps you fairly busy. But what else happens in the life of Paul Price?
I'm a big weightlifter. I do have a degree in it. I got it probably 5 or 6 years ago. I've always been fascinated with weightlifting and stuff like that. And I've been doing it probably now I'm 37, so 17 years I've been lifting.
Mm,
Um, I just enjoy it. It keeps me clarity of mind and thought and all that. I do a little bit of golfing. I'm a pretty decent bowler. But outside of that, I just kind of just chill. Really, I don't do a whole lot. Take me a one vacation a year, go to the beach and hit the ocean for a little while, and then reset and hit it again.
There you go. Well, your kids must be, they're probably at an age now where they're involved in school activities of some type, I'm going to guess. Most kids are.
Well, mine, I believe it or not, they're not. So
Really?
all my kids are homeschooled,
Oh,
and
great. Yep.
so
Big supporter of that.
um,
That's awesome.
and so they're doing well. Actually, my oldest, he just started doing the banjo, and so
Hmm.
learning how to play the banjo. So I'm looking forward to that. He's enjoying it. For sports wise, I guess because I've never really pushed it on them, they've just not really got like an interest for it, really. So we just kind of just run around the yard, really. Like a bunch of wild kids, like I did when I was little. Playing, cops and robbers and
Yeah,
ninjas
yeah.
and all that. With sticks.
Yeah. So we got to go back to the banjo. So that's your oldest son that's playing banjo?
Yes, sir. He is.
Yes.
He is thoroughly enjoying it. Yes, sir.
Good. So it's what he wants to give Mason a run for his money, right?
I'm hoping so because Mason does very well. So I'm hoping he comes in one day and maybe they play together.
They might. They'll start a little duo.
Yes,
I get a kick out of his Sunday. I think Sunday morning he does this. He always jumps on
he does.
social and
Yeah.
plays guitar or banjo.
Yes, sir.
I don't know much about banjo. I would if I'm being brutally honest. I'm probably not what you'd call a banjo fan, if you
Yes, sir.
will. But I enjoy any music. I enjoy any talents that I don't have. Which I was in music a little, Paul. It was in sixth grade. So that was back before there was bands. I mean that was back before there was cars or anything.
Yeah, back in the wagon days.
Yeah, the horse and wagon. But I was so good. I played the cornet, air quotes, played the cornet, which is like a trumpet, right?
Yes, sir.
And I was so good, wink, wink, that my band instructor, we had one concert, right? It's sixth grade band in a small little tiny elementary
Absolutely.
school. And she says, okay, when we start, she said, just put the up to your lips, don't blow, and just move your fingers up and down, but don't blow. That's how bad I was.
Wow.
I used to tell people I was sixth chair. Unfortunately, there was only 5 chairs. That's how bad I was. I I yeah, music. I love music. I like all genres. If it's live, okay, all genres. Not a rap guy. I don't like rap, but outside of that, um, I like music. I'm just not good at it.
I'm
I
with you.
but that's very, very
I
good.
mean,
So
I've been off and on trying to learn how to play the piano. I've been like, I
have you?
started and I quit and I started. It's
I got a
just
granddaughter's learning to play that now, piano, and her brother's learning to play guitar. So we'll see how that goes. Maybe there'll be some musicians in the family.
yes, sir.
Won't be me. I'll just go and applaud at their school things, and
Absolutely.
that's it. So your wife homeschools the kids. That's pretty cool.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's been a pleasure. Like she's a stay home mom. So for actually since we've been married, we got married while I was in the Marine Corps. So ever since then, she's just been a stay home mom. So
Perfect. Very
it's been
good.
a blessing. Yes, sir.
Awesome. That's great. So where are you working at today? You out in Georgia or you in Tennessee?
No, I drove to South Carolina to look at a
Ah,
68 by 100 and 24-foot tall, and was trying to see about throwing that guy a price and see what
good.
he says about it.
Well, if he needs a reference, time to call me.
I will do, brother. Will
Okay.
do.
Hopefully, I won't mess it up. So, Libby, I want to be cognizant of your time because you're going to go make some money and sell a job. But what? Talk to me just a minute about barn dominiums. I know you do some barn doors. Are you doing those from the? Are you assisting with the design stage all the way through the construction? Do you sub parts of it out, or how are you approaching that? Because barn doors is like probably the single hottest building type going right now in the post frame or in the post frame metal frame industry. I mean, that's pretty big right now.
It is. It's actually gaining ground and continuing to gain ground. It's from many different stages, really. Like I can, I've done them from the concrete up. Now, obviously, I don't do all the work. I'll
Hmm.
sub out, some of that. But sometimes now it's really coming on. It's a big like a fad, I would say, that you frame the walls, the exterior, put the roof on the siding, and a lot of homeowners are wanting to sort of take it over from there, which is okay. Um, I guess I'm not sure how that's going to affect the industry really, in that aspect. But that's sort of where it's at now. Really, a lot of people you talk to, there's like actually I'm going to build one in the end of July, and it's the same thing. I'm just going to go frame it, roof it, and side it, and then they want to take it over from there. So that's kind of how it's been going.
Do you enjoy that part of it, or do you like to feel the accomplishment and be in control from grading all the way to handling the keys?
Um, Yeah, I mean, I would say I'm pretty content with what I'm doing here. Now, sometimes I enjoy going in and watching the final piece of cabinet go on or
Hmm.
countertop and the piece of trim, and that's all good. But sometimes it's a little bit of a break on the mind mentally if you don't get involved that far into it sometimes because homeowners can go so many directions like, hey, I want this, I want that, and it's like, well, your budget didn't say this, it says this, and so you kind of avoid those conversations because like the framing, siding, and roofing is a pretty concrete, like, hey, this is what it's going to be.
Right.
So I enjoy that part of it. I enjoy, sometimes I get to do a little tile shower every once in a while in them, so it's not
Yeah.
bad.
Very
Little
cool.
change of game.
That's awesome. Paul, what else you want to talk about before we let you out of here? I know we got Wes likes to should ask questions, so I mean we can jump right to that because I do want to get you going because you've passed the test, so we probably will allow you back someday. It was touch and go for a minute, but you picked up
Yeah, I
steam.
know, I know. Sometimes I can be a little awkward, but I do appreciate you having me on here.
Oh, oh, of course. What do
Uh,
you wish that people would just ask Paul, whether it's personal, business, uh, philosophical, Marine Corps? I don't care what it is. What do you wish people would ask Paul that they just never ask?
let's go with like the construction side here. I would say most people never ask you what to expect. You know, what's like in reality. I mean, I would say like this really. Um, they never ask the question to answer like what's to be expected. Does that make sense? They
Hmm.
never they never ask that question. They sort of the most homeowners will just let the contractor decide everything, and then at the end of the job, sometimes it's just like they're not satisfied, and it's mainly because they never asked about the process, about the expectation of like, okay, when this happens or when this stage happens, what's going to be next? I try to do my best in that scenario because that's on my mind when I'm dealing with a customer is to let them understand like, hey, this is how this is going to go. So they're always in the loop and not feeling left out. They're very involved. So on the construction side, I would say that. Because because you don't really want to know some of the stuff I would say on a personal basis that's on my mind. It's best sometimes I keep it to myself. 'Cause I can
That,
be a smart aleck sometimes.
I can believe that. So that's probably when you can. But hey, Wes has got mute buttons, so you know, and he's
Yes,
got a
sir.
big hook that'll yank you right out of that car if you get out of line. So.
Yeah, absolutely. So that'd be my question, just to homeowner, if they would just ask more about how things or the processes of how things are going to be
Hmm.
done, and then
Yeah,
just life would be easier for everybody.
it would be. And we'll finish with this then because I love that comment because I'm a big believer in whether it's in what you're doing or in my world to be on the supply end, the manufacturer end, working with the roll formers or the post frame supply houses and people like that is managing customer expectations. It always is important from the sales guy end, which is what I do. You're a sales guy too, selling your projects and
Yes,
also
sir.
building them, project managing everything you do. But the more manage the expectations that would happen, I think what I'm hearing you say from both sides, you need to do as good a job as you can to manage the expectations to the customers so there's not any surprises, so they're prepared, so they don't think something was going to happen that wasn't
Yes, sir.
going to happen. But I think it's a great point if customers would be better managing the expectations of how is this going to work with price construction, right? What
Absolutely.
happens if we get 4 days of rain? What happens if anything? What happens if we get this far in and this happens? If the more of those questions are answered up front, the smoother it's going to be, and which means at the end of the project, everybody's happy and thrilled that the project went well, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yes, I agree 100%. Yes.
Beautiful. Well, Paul, thank you so much for being on. Get out there and go sell that job. Tell them to call me. I work.
Will do.
I work for cheap, so don't worry.
Will do. Will do.
But
But I appreciate you having me on for sure.
I appreciate you, brother, and we'll see you somewhere soon. I'll be down that way again sometime, or we'll see you at the next trade show someplace, I'm sure.
Okay, sounds good, buddy. Look forward to
I
it.
appreciate you, man. Thank you, sir.
All right, thanks.
All
Thank you.
right, cheers. Yep, bye-bye. Man, great young guy. He's not that young, but I'm old, so great guy in the industry. Just a great guy in general. I've had the privilege of meeting Paul a few times personally, and he's every bit as good a guy as he comes across on the screen. So if you're down in that part of the world, check him out. Price Construction. You won't be sorry. And that's it for today. We're going to go just do another rack and stack here in a minute. But again, I say it all the time, but I can't say it enough. Love what you do and do what you love, right? Because you get one go around on planet Earth. Live it, love it, own it, and go make today your best day ever. Till tomorrow. Cheers, my friends.